Most people look at the quiet ones in the room and assume they are weak or passive. We often mistake their silence for a lack of courage or an inability to stand up for themselves. But have you ever noticed that the person who never reacts is actually the one controlling the situation? While everyone else is losing control, they remain completely untouched by the chaos. This isn't passivity, it is a form of dominance that most people are too blind to see. We need to reframe how we look at emotional control. It is not about suppressing your feelings or bottling them up inside like a pressure cooker. That is what average people do, but high-functioning individuals do something different. They possess a high IQ trait known as cognitive inhibition. This is the quiet power of strategic control. It changes the game from emotional reaction to mental strategy. Let's explore why you should trust the person who never gets angry. Cognitive inhibition is the mental ability to tune out irrelevant stimuli. High IQ people use cognitive inhibition to create a gap between emotion and action. Think of this gap as a pause button on reality. When an average person feels anger, they immediately move to action. There is no filter, there is no pause, it is instant. However, cognitive inhibition allows you to stop that process midstream. It frames emotional control not as weakness, but as a strategic choice. In that pause, the high IQ individual assesses the situation. They choose a response rather than suffering a reaction. This ability to choose is what separates the leader from the follower. It is the hallmark of a highly efficient, regulated mind, and it relies on a specific system within our brains. Psychologists refer to this as utilizing System 2 dominance. Our brains have two modes of operation, fast and slow. Fast thinking is reactive. It is survival-based and emotional. Slow thinking, or System 2, is analytical and logical. High IQ people rely on this slow thinking to process anger. They do not let the fast, emotional brain take the driver's seat. Instead, they engage their strategic control. This creates a buffer where they can analyze the threat. In this buffer, they can calculate the best possible outcome. This is why they never seem to get angry in the moment. They are not feeling less. They are simply processing more. They utilize System 2 dominance to override their base instincts. Now let's look at the opposite side of the spectrum. Research links low IQ to a specific behavioral pattern, reacting without thinking. This indicates weak impulse control. When impulse control is weak, emotions dictate actions immediately. There is no gap, there is no strategy, only reaction. This makes the person predictable and easy to manipulate. If you can make them angry, you can control them. But the person with cognitive inhibition cannot be baited. They refuse to engage in reacting without thinking. Their silence is a wall that low impulse control cannot break. This demonstrates the distinct link between IQ and emotional regulation. The quieter they are, the more they are likely processing. So the next time you see someone who remains quiet during a conflict, do not mistake their silence for weakness or submission. Understand that they are likely engaging a high-level mental process. They are using cognitive inhibition to assess the room. They are prioritizing System 2 logic over fast reaction. They are creating that powerful gap between emotion and action. The person who never reacts is the one you should trust to lead. Because while others are slaves to their impulses, the quiet person is the master of their own mind. Cognitive inhibition is the true sign of strength. Trust the person who thinks before they act. Silence is not empty, it is full of answers.